The deployment phase in this one was really long. Heading up to that. So hello everyone, and welcome back to some more
Hell, it's about time.
WARNO League action as we're going into Division 4, where the new players of the WARNO League do face off against each other. And we have 16th Panzer here on the left side for uh, Phased Plasma, and on the right side we have the guy with the best name in the league, Punk's Not Dead. And they're coming in here with 7th Panzer, so this should be pretty hot one. And the pick and ban phase here got us Black Forest and Omen, so pretty foresty, quite wide maps. And the matchups pretty interesting as well here. West German equipment here on the right side for the most part. 16th Panzer Division with the Leo 1s, and then 5th Panzer. And on the other side, 2 times packed. First with 7th Panzer, the more agile T-72 Division, and then 2nd Guards Motostrelki, the Moscow Guard Division with the Guardizi, and a lot of other good support equipment. Divmop still gets all the bans. TLKA ban here, interesting as well. And one of first really is hated at the moment. It's interesting. Like, I get why, the M1IP buff and so on, like that division is absolutely back in its flesh right now, but still interesting to see that it gets this much lag at the moment, because we have seen it banned in Division 1 quite a bit as well. Obviously, a lot of those were counter bans against players that were known for playing a lot of one of first as well, but in general, like last season, even in those matchups, you wouldn't not necessarily have seen that ban, but now it's getting banned all around the place. So, yeah, this should be interesting. Omen here, pretty open map in the mid, or pretty wide map in the middle. Relatively slow tick, but a lot of space to fight in, and the 2-pointers here relatively deep in the rear, but can be pushed in some special situations, so they are relevant. And yeah, we have Spezialaufklärer here coming in as the fourth deployment. On the other side, the Fusiliers, all the Luxembourgians doing their part, and coming in here with their 8-man squad with a law in the American provided Humvees. Humvee Tow 2 here, their fourth deployment anti-tank tool. Really solid equipment. And then behind it comes the strong mechanized plan. So not that much out yet. 7.6mm MGs, a couple of Mistrals. And then in front of that, some Eclair, some is RGVPs coming around. And one of the sniper teams coming around in the A109s. A109s, amazing little helicopters. Love them whenever we get around them. This one here is unarmed though, unlike the one in the London HDR division. And here we have a classic center push towards the Boris point, out of Punk's Not Dead, with some Motschützen, with some T-55s coming around here, and a bit of a covering force in the south with some normal outclairers, somewhat BMP-1s, and good couple of Spezialaufklärer here all around the place to cover the flanks. But yeah, all the combat forces going towards Boris for now. So the spread here a bit wider by Phased Plasma, but that means that the fight for Boris will be pretty tough for our player in blue. Gets a layer 1A5 now. Or 1BE, rather. Not 1BE. Not the 1A5 BE. So this is the one with slightly lower accuracy and penetration, as it gets the older ammunition and doesn't quite have the fire control upgrade of the 105, but already has good enough fire control that it has max range. And yeah, Humvee here going around capturing spot. The Tow-2s can be really good against the enemy T-55s. They one-shot those. Can be pretty excellent against T-72s as well. It's a bit tough to get them working on this map. Like, pure anti-tank vehicles, especially expensive ones like this, 85 points is not cheap, are nice, but you have to be careful where you put them, because it can happen quite often on this map that random infantry units just runs on top of you, and then you are in trouble. So yeah, T-55A is coming up, Me Too's coming up, And yeah, the voice lines are up again, guys. I have put up 8 out of 10 already in there. Still, I'm still looking for 2 more good voice lines, but you guys can use the button again, and it does work in the casts again as well. They're over on Twitch. I'm sorry for all of you on YouTube, guys, but unfortunately, sound alerts are not something that you can implement in the uh, YouTube streams yet, at least as far as I know. So, Motschützen, Pioneers, all coming around. Love Clever, all coming in as well. Sniper ESR actually going deep here. That is an interesting choice, just going around the edge of the map with this one. What's on the other side? BMP1 might spot this. Gets unloaded as they're moving around here. But yeah, that is a deep into the enemy line sniper unit. Like they're trying to get into this building here or something like that. Not 1% sure what its purpose is. It's not an anti-materiel rifle, so it can't deal with vehicles going by. And the A109 does get spotted here on the way out by the Motschützen. So if Punk's not dead, does realize that, they might start a hunt, though the hunt is not really worth it. Like the sniper here could maybe be a bit annoying, but it likely is not going to achieve much. Against unarmored transports that drive directly through it, might be deadly. So chances are it doesn't not do nothing. Can spot behind enemy lines obviously nicely as well if you move it nicely around and maybe find some AA pieces or artillery. Like that could be great. But for now, Punk's not dead. With the better situation on the battlefield, because they have the stronger fighting force in the center, whilst none of the flanks are heavily equipped enough here by phased plasma just yet for them to achieve any breakthroughs. Next sniper unit here gets deployed on the side. And yeah, in the middle, the Fusiliers, together with some scimitar autocannon vehicles, moving forward. Gepard B2 gets a nice kill here on a recon helicopter. Nice small victory there. Has to be careful though. Has no infantry in front of it, so nothing scouting for it. And their 1BE here can be used nicely against the T-55s if it can engage on the range. On closer ranges, it's a pretty close fight. T-55s having the better armor and having similar penetration, just being lower on the accuracy due to the lower base range. But if you can get some good long-range engagements ongoing here with the Leo 1BE, it could be doing a pretty decent job. Lead plane here coming out. Gepard not turned off. But lead plane does miss with the first missile. It's an Su-22 with the KH-28 seed missiles. Those are not the best. Gets another one out though. And this time around, it hits its mark and gets the kill here. Gepard goes down. F-16A AA coming out. We see the snipers have their weapons turned off here. Otherwise, they could have started engaging the Eagle and maybe even killed it. As that is coming out to the northern part of the map. Hoop gets hit against the F-16AA. Belgian F-16s not the best in the game because they have weaker missiles and slightly lower ECM package as well than the normal F-16. So outclassed by their brethren. But Layer 1 here could get maybe into a good position. T-55A already hit once, so another close range hit could finish it off. SPW gets found. T-55A needs to fall back so that it at least gets to spot the enemy here thanks to the Spezialaufklärer, which should be the case now. And yeah, the T-55 just disengaging out of the combat here. Ooh, Sultan in danger. Sultan not disengaging yet. Scimitar in danger as well. Too close to the enemy there. Leo 1 and the 7.6mm MG trying their best here, but 30mm grenade launcher pushing forward through the middle as well. Sniper ESR unit trying to get past on the flank here, but likely is going to fall to the KPV vehicle over here with the heavy MG. Only 2 hit points here on the sniper, so they do fall quite quickly. They have good damage output once they are static, but they're not static just yet. Okay, quick reaction here from Fate's Plasma actually. Might just barely keep them out of harm's way in time. Yep. Gets off the side there, so the snipers do survive, but they're kind of isolated over there. Not able to do much. Matcherino got the kill here against the Sultan, so if the Matcherino can retreat away from the Leo now. New infantry coming in. The Mech Fusiliers of the Belgians. Nice infantry in their fire output. Only 7 hit points though, but they have 3 MGs, and the Matcherino on the other side are only 8-man or 7-man squads as well, so you have the extra MG there. The firepower there a bit better, and especially cost efficiency wise on the Belgian side of things. But yeah, that's what I talked about with the TOW 2 unit. Aufklärer just runs on top of it and kills it. Like, that's the unfortunate parts there. BMP-1 does get killed. 30mm grenade launcher does go down as well. And the push here in the south of Phase Plasma might work out. Punk's Not Dead not having all that much here behind all of this. So the Mech Fusiliers with the solid autocannon AVBs here is likely going to be able to push through. Ooh, T-72 gets side-shotted by the Leo 1. Second Leo 1 should come in for assistance. The first one does get stressed out so much that it does miss its second shot there. And the other Leo 1 not quite moving fast enough. Scimitar here in danger. Does not get hit by the ATGM. BMP-1 stressed out now, so its main cannon pretty inaccurate as well. Good push here by Phase Plasma. Should push further. T-72 does get killed by the other Leo pushing it. Good reaction here by Phase Plasma in general. Issue is still the center here. +1 slowly ticking up. But as Phase Plasma started with faster CVs, they got a 300-point lead here nonetheless. Leo 1 BE here microed well, as Punk's Not Dead is counter-pushing the whole situation here in the center. T-72M doing a good job. Rotating around. What we have? 152mm artillery pieces coming up. T-55A and T-72M1 rolling in from the rear. Leo 1A5s engaging on the front line. The situation here is active all around the front now. Northern part, not quite as much, but especially the south and the center currently really active combat zone. Mod Aufklärer only having RPG-18s, not quite capable of one-shotting the AFV here. So they will go down to the Mech Fusiliers and the AFB, get another shot out, but do miss because of the stress. So good situation here for Phase Plasma in the south. And with that, getting back onto the enemy here. If they can get the capture of that, they will get up for a tick. Don't have a CV there just yet. T-72 here, once more setting up for a side shot. Ooh, gets its engine destroyed. And this time around, it doesn't spot the enemy. Leo 1A5 now gets spotted. T-72 is on 3-vet, and the 3-vet do prevail. Ural needs to come up there. Really lucky that it doesn't get hit by the second shot there on this range. And yeah, T-72M down on the engine. There is an artillery piece that could finish it off. Okay, yeah, that's what's happening now. M109 is aiming, and it should aim in time, even with the Ural now on the way. No, Ural's still not on the way, so that T-72 should still go down. That's a great trade for Phase Plasma. That's a 170-point tank traded for a 105-point tank. And okay, the Ambitos already might just do the job. 109mm M109 here, not even necessary. Yep, so to do the job. As I said, I'm not the biggest fan of using all that many ATGM vehicles here, and Punk's Not Dead did react now to the push in the south, so there's a lot of forces coming, but Phase Plasma hasn't reinforced that push in the south, is not pushing harder where they are winning, that tried to gain control back over the center. With the T-72 kill, that might be possible, but that also means that they're likely gonna lose the push here in the south. Igla team pushed back, Me Too coming forward. Coop does not get a hit against the Mirage cluster. Good little fighter bomber here coming in. Ooh, there are a good couple of armored vehicles here. The T-55's pretty close together, but it's going for the BMP-1. That's a big mistake. Could have killed a lot more there, and trading Mirage for a BMP-1 is an absolute disaster. That's a terrible trade. So victory there for Punk's Not Dead. And the Leo 1 DE here has to be super careful. Yeah, those vehicles can't be here. Matcherino with the RPG-7VL will kill this thing in no time. So the Mech Fusiliers are on their own. The situation in itself completely falling apart here right now for Phase Plasma, and they haven't gotten the push into the center in yet either. This is a problem. as yeah, they need to start doing some artillery fire here, and they're not quite playing enough around the high DPS output of 16th Belgian. They were a bit shy here with how fast they pushed in the south, and that allowed Punks Not Dead to get all those solid units that can take a beating back onto the menu for 7th. Matcherino with the good RPGs stop your vehicles if they get in range. The T-55s can take a shot or two from your tanks. Toto here, good solution, but not an amazing one. Estimate 2 seat here coming around once more. Parking for Gepards. Mistral's not able to hit it, and we have a helicopter. Both T-55s here go down. Gepard actually went down. And yeah, M109 here now trying to aim up, but still no tick here for Phase Plasma. Mech Fusiliers pushing forward. 152mm artillery piece here. The Acacia in the East German service moving around. MiG-21 BIS coming in. Kill the A109. Mi-8 rocket moving around here as well. And there's not enough soft HE damage here right now. Phase Plasma trying to play all parts of the map equally, and that's pretty tough to do for 16th. It's way easier to do for 7th, because 7th has more or stronger individual units. But I would argue that 16th has the better combined arms, and especially in the early stages, for the T-72s get too high a number, and also the higher kill potential. That's why you want to stack more onto certain places in this matchup with that division. There are matches where you want to make it wide and fight at all places at once with 16th. For example, against 3rd US or so, where you know, like, yeah, where you just probe all around and try to find the weak spot and then attack with your forces on the weak spot. But you can't do that against 7th. 7th is doing an even better job than you do on the wide thin line thing. So against that division, I feel like you have to overstack a certain space, just get enough DPS that you can just murder stuff quickly. Like with the autocannons and your high potential infantry, just beat off the enemy infantry with your Leo 1s running around, sniping enemy T-55s or finishing off T-72s. But yeah, Spitzeller Flares here now pushing forward, getting good hits. They are under fire now. They do get decent damage. They kill the Mech Fusiliers and then they fall back here. Likely going to go down though, as the vehicles still have line of sight here, and Phase Plasma is getting back into the action here. Leo 1BE comes back in. So far the trades between the two players not terrible. Point-wise, there is still a lead for Phase Plasma, as they got the beginning points here. And the situation is still relatively close here. But once the T-72 numbers can get a bit higher here for Punks Not Dead, I believe they are in a pretty decent spot. Like, Leo 1s can overwhelm a single or two 72s relatively efficiently, but once you get up to 4 or 5 of them, then the situation is becoming really rough, especially if you have lost all the Humvee toes at that point. But even with those, it's not going to be easy to beat those. SU-22 here moving around. Oh, going for the kill. Mistral numbers are decent, but not amazing. And Leo 105 goes down. MiG-21 likely will bite the dust here as well on the way out. Mistral's still reloading. There are 0 vet Mistrals. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Manpads always at 1 vent, guys. Always at 1 vet. M109 here comes around in the rear. Hey, Zred. Welcome to the channel. Leo 1BE on the fire in the south here. Likely gonna get hit. The artillery fire off the 152mm. First salvo coming in. Mod Aufklärer is going down in the south. Infantry pushing forward. Situation here, not great, not terrible for the blue side. They are still holding the point lead. Would be a draw at this point. Less than 1 point difference between them means map would be a draw, but you for sure want to get a couple more kills again with the Belgians here to keep the enemy from buying more and more T-72s. 30mm grenade launcher here gets overwhelmed. Will get killed off here in a split second. Does go down there. Pioneers pushing forward. Matcherino moving up as well. As the Ipavir isn't getting attacked by anything. No infrared missiles here, and the Coups out of ammo, and even if they would have ammo, they can't shoot down this unit. Can't be shot at by radar AA. So Milan 2 moving around. Mistral not hitting the MiG-21. As the SPW goes down. Matcherino SVD holding the 9 nicely here against Phase Plasma. As the Pioneers try to break through. They come with 1 vet. And a couple of the AVs here get 2 vet at this point as well. But the T-72s will be the long time problem. Engine destroyed here on the TOW2. Quite annoying. The Humvee TOW2. And yeah, there's once more no real pushing power for the blue side. Artillery trying to get on through the T-55A. That's the leader. If that would get killed, the TIG would go online here for the blue side again, but it's only one of the 2 M109s that is currently aiming. That's a mistake. The single one does not really have a chance of getting the kill there with 1 salvo unless all the hits are perfect. Okay, as I said that, the hits are landing pretty good. T-55 doesn't get moved yet, but that's the last shot, and that is dealing some damage but not getting the kill. Second one is aiming towards the Matcherino in the north. S-Train 2 cluster. Oh no, 2 Leos getting hit there, only 1 getting killed, but both getting hit. The Gepards stay online here. That's something that Phase Plasma will have to check out for the future, keeping them in a hotkey group on one of their numbers, and then against, when you know that the enemy brings seed planes around, you keep them turned off and only turn them on when the seed plane is either not there or turning away from you. Like the anti-seed macro, a really important part in the learning curve of becoming a higher level WARNO player, as that's an easy way of how to avoid losses, and good AA just over time wins you every airfight. So if you keep them online, then the enemy bombers will go down over time. The situation here, M109s should focus fire. The T-55 now is getting repaired, so single one firing on it again won't do the job. But we have 2 around, so they could do it. Fusiliers coming in. More Mistrals moving to the front line. Oops, moving in as well. And ooh, artillery now on top of the artillery on the CV on the other side, and they get the kill, so it is going to be Punk Not Dead who gets up to the point lead here. Pioneers pushing in on their own towards the Matcherino. Matcherino about to get overwhelmed. 7.6mm MG trying to hold the ground here in the center. Matcherino under fire from all sides. 7.6mm MGs. Pioneers all lighting the map. Amvito getting too close here. T-72 M1 aiming onto the second one. Might get stunned down beforehand. Yes, it does, but the Amvito having a relatively long reload time between shots. And there goes the second one. Yeah, that's what I was talking about in the beginning. Spots like that just not great for the ATGM vehicles on this map. It is more of a fire support, like tanks and IV situation here than the ATGM vehicles. Next Humvee goes down in the south to another T-72. And this is a big problem, because that's your best tool to deal with these T-72s. Without them, you have to rely on your Leo 1A5 BEs, and those can do decent damage, but they're not efficient at killing T-72. As you just saw there, even with half-life, the T-72 still survives a hit on a close range. penetration is just not quite there. The Fusiliers here moving relatively deep, but the +1 now taking up for Punk's Not Dead, and they are soon to take over the lead. Still a bit away with a +1 from actually getting into a winning position, as that is only 40 points per minute, so that's still 1.5 minutes now until you actually get into a position where you will win the game. But Mirage Cluster here getting overwhelmed quite a bit as well, gets 1 T-72 by the F-16 AA, and the Mirage Cluster go down for it to the coops. So that's a trade that you take any day of the week, as Punk's Not Dead here. Face Plasma once more in the need to find a better idea here to use the power of the 16th Belgian. They are playing a decent setup here for the division, but not quite for the matchup and not quite for the map either. Like the ATGM heavy 16th Belgian play, that's better on maps with easier, longer fields of view, where the enemy infantry can't get close to your tree lines. But here, it is pretty easy to get an infantry into your tree line. It's also pretty easy for the tanks to get close enough to fire upon you before you can get the missile on top of them. So all of that sets up those Humvee toes and so on for a bit of a rough time. F-16A here getting hit as well, and yeah, that's the difference here. The air taps not working out at all for Face Plasma right now, but on the other side, the seaplanes and the bombers do a pretty good job at finishing off the enemy. +1 does keep on taking here. And Punk's Not Dead about to get into a leading position here. T-72M rolling towards the front line. We have a good couple of Mech Fusiliers here coming in again. 20mm, no, 25mm Ehrlichen. A really good autocannon. There goes the 30mm grenade launcher. Fusiliers moving around. Oh, Leo 1BE here is in trouble. And yeah, Face Plasma currently just playing reactively, seeing that they get ticked down in the middle and desperately trying to get a matchup there, but also whenever they take losses elsewhere, they reinforce there as well, and that just means that they never quite get the concentration of forces that they would need for a breakthrough here. And Punk's Not Dead is playing somewhat reactively as well, but as I said early, their division in this matchup is doing that job better, and that is the problem of Face Plasma here right now, that 7th Panzer has an easier time in this matchup, and the airplay here on the side of Punk's Not Dead, pretty solid. And they struggled a bit in the beginning in the south, but since then have really gotten the hang of how to deal with the Belgian unit matchups, how to use your infantry there. And once the infantry is getting into good spots, then the enemy vehicles have a rough time, and Face Plasma never used enough higher veterancy infantry in a concentrated way to achieve major forced victories here either. There is more infantry on the way here now. Has to be careful with where they unload, but that seems to be okay for now. Well, another CV comes in now, but at the same time, reinforcements going towards the center again here. The play is going into all directions. The recon gameplay of Face Plasma not really in a great spot now either. Their recon infantry in the center all has died, but of one Eclair here in the further north position. And on the other side, we still have a good couple of solidly positioned Spezialaufklärers and Aufklärers here, so Punk's Not Dead having the recon advantage there as well. The CVs get unloaded here. In a big push through the south, still could achieve things, but the issue with German and Belgian divisions, or this Belgian division especially, is that your units all die really quickly. That means that they're relatively micro-intensive, and you can't micro all across the board. So, but they have a lot of damage, and they are pretty agile. So, they are really good when microed, and they're not that amazing when not microed. So, yeah, you want to focus on microing them, and that's currently not quite possible for Phase Plasma. And this is currently leading to a position where they're in. Hey, Chem Warrior, welcome back. Thanks for the follow. 23 ml here, coming around, trying to get for this F-16A. Not quite getting the hilt there, but more units here. Trying to attempt to push through the middle. Mistral going down. B-24D coming in with some good hits as well. Mirage 5 coming in for the Matcherino kill. Good hit there. Rocket. Rocket's there. Getting some decent hits as well. Not enough units here around currently. Once more for Phase Plasma to really get into the gap that was created there. The autocannon vehicles all dealt with. And Punk's not dead, having good line of sight on all the entrances to the middle flanks as well. So Phase Plasma currently not in a position to get around the enemy. And this is a neat idea here, but because the enemy recon is positioned so well, and there is a good ATGM here as well, it's likely not going to work out. The Fagot position is fantastic for keep covering the flank here. And these AVBs have to be really careful. Missile on the way. And does miss with the first one here, so does give Phase Plasma potentially the chance to use smoke well to get out of dodge. But there comes the next one. Does miss again. Fagot team running low on ammo there a bit. Second Fagot team around though. Oh no, that's the same Fagot team, but missing 3 times in a row. Okay, now I'm out of ammo. Fortunate times here for Phase Plasma, but now too close to the Aufklärers here. So gets attacked by those. They get a hit. The BMP-1 gets a hit. Two of them down now. McFusilius kind of stranded out in the open. Pushing forwards a bit as well. Artillery could assist, but it's currently too busy. And yeah, the action is going on all across the map. Omen, not an easy map to play. Really takes your attention all over the spot. So you have to be careful on how to use it. And Ayo there. Renowned Villager and Bonzo Mate. I love WARNO as well. Best RTS together with StarCraft I've ever played. BB here, moving around, out of Clara, getting some good damage in there. Gets a good kill. The Mersip comes in here for the bombing run. Going for the kill. Gets it. Mirage gets shot on the way out. Will get killed on the way out here. Ooh, barely survives. Okay, gets out with just, with Steve. And M109 here needs to get back into the business in the middle. The silence of these two guns here, whilst on the other side, the 152mm have been a bit more active. Yeah, it's cost Phase Plasma a good bit as well. Those artillery guns could have been helpful. Sniping for the middle and so on. Whilst we see Iltis fall back in the south. 7.6mm sitting around. Pioneers, fighting Pioneers here in the middle. And the East German ones winning the fight as they are the ones in cover. Shock activated there on both units. Which grenade launchers, SPWs, all getting involved as well. There goes the Pioneer unit. Milan 2 rotating around. VB trying to get a hit here. Milan 2 in a pretty good spot as well. Well, artillery tries to get hit all around the target. Finally comes back into life, but due to the lack of recon, it's also not that great at doing it. And the situation here, like, Phase Plasma is not doing a terrible job at playing the game, but they're just not quite set up for the matchup. And it's a bit of a weird matchup, and you don't play 7th all that often, and oftentimes, like, the gameplay's idea that Phase Plasma does here works out with 16th, like just overwhelming the enemy with whip, but 7th is one of the divisions that just does that even better than you do. And it's you really have to adapt to that, otherwise Punks are dead with really solid fundamentals here. Like, Division 4 skill level this season seems to be, on average, once more higher than last season. But yeah, just really solid fundamentals here. Is doing a really good job at keeping the defense up. Like, there hasn't been any fancy shenanigans here out of the 7th. The SPW moving around all the places, staying in front of your BMPs and tanks. The Su-22s coming around. The seed plane opener was a bit weird. Like, the seed plane came in a bit too early in my eyes. That's one of the reasons that allowed Phase Plasma to get the push in the south, but they just weren't quite able to exploit it. And yeah, if you play 16th, I believe you have to play it more focused on aggressive. Epivia here coming in on the other side. Trying to get some scouting in. Igla will get the fire on it. Doesn't miss for now, but the next one does get the hit, and the drone goes down here. MiG-21's flying around, does get lit up by the enemy AA, but will make it out alive, and gets a bit of a pickle that Phase Plasma is in now, and Punks are dead is just barely over the 100 point mark, but they are over the 100 point mark, and that means Phase Plasma needs to attack here at some point, or at least kill the enemy CV in the middle. They are going for the CV killing part now, but they don't have a recon unit here anymore, so their M109s are at least both firing this time around, but they don't have accurate shot, which means that they might not get the hits here that they need to actually kill the T-55. T-55 is moving away forward, and the first salvo not quite crippling enough and on target enough that this will get the kill here most likely. If accurate shot would have been active thanks to a recon unit, then the situation might have been different. Also, both of the M109s at 0 red, and that means the shot between the salvos, at the time between the shots, relatively high. I got team here, gets attacked by 2 Fusiliers standing between the buildings, using the line of sight here. That's MiG-21 coming around, Mirage rockets flying through the sky as well, does get shut down here at least. MiG-23 is coming in. Long-range missiles off there is not the greatest, so they fail to get the kill, but the T-55 here still being alive, that is a big issue. Fusiliers here trying their best. They can't use the mech on this range, and they only have 2 more files, but the Fagot are in cover, so it takes a good while here. Eventually, they will get the kill. Mirage rocket coming around, but the bigger issue is getting kills here on the enemy T-55 TV. 6 minutes to go, and Phase Plasma is still a bit more than 100 points out. Really, everything should focus on killing that T-55 now, and just getting a take for a minute or two. But instead, it's the Sultan that goes down in the middle, and with that, the take will swing the other way instead, and that likely is a death sentence here. There are still 2 more CVs here, but there's no pushing power to get back into this. There are too many Mochets near, and there's not enough on the flank here to bring these Leos in. There are 4 Leos now, but no infantry. And then the single Mochets will keep you out the whole time. Mochets in here with the good RPG. That's an advantage that they have over the Belgians as well. The Belgians infantry is really good against infantry, and their tanks are pretty good against tanks, especially if you get ATGMs on top of those as well. But their tanks aren't great against infantry, and their infantry isn't great against tanks because it only has the terrible launchers, even or the Blinderside, which are not much better. Like the even some of them having the Law Egg 1 with only 11 penetration, one of the weakest launchers in the game. And with those, you just aren't going to hurt T-72s. So Leo 1A5s here now, rotating around, or only Leo 1BEs, dealing decent damage, but P72 is now too numerous as well. And with that, and the +1 here, Phase Plasma will get overwhelmed here. Really, really solid all-around game from Punk's Not Dead. This looked really convincing. That's Leo 1A5 BE here pushing 5 forward. Mirage 5B base in disguise. All the units here looking pretty promising for Punk's Not Dead. But if the matchup and the setup here is a bit better for Phase Plasma next game, and they are playing 5th Panzer versus 2nd Guards, where they can play the late game and they can play the tank games a bit better like this. Black Forest maybe allowing for a bit more concentrated forces there as well. That could be interesting, but obviously 2nd currently a really, really good division as well, so not gonna be easy there either, but I believe with what Phase Plasma has shown on the micro level side, like, they are absolutely fine here and on par with their opponent. Just that, yeah, the match plan here not quite working out for them. And Punk's Not Dead coming in with really solid fundamentals, and that's the key part in Division 4. You need to get your combined arms into good place spots, and then just slowly outrate your enemy. That's most of the time the way to victory in Division 4. Sometimes there is really sneaky shenanigans in Division 4, so you need to be ready to deal with getting thrown some weird curveballs your way. But outside of that, if you just focus on the grind set, then and winning the trades, then usually in Division 4 you will come out ahead. Good artillery shots here, getting around onto the 015B, and 2 minute 33, more than 200 points difference. This game is over. Even if the Humvee CP would get into the southern zone here and capture it, would be too late at this point. So really well-deserved game number 1 here for Punk's Not Dead. 7th Panzer is a division that had been out of it for a while last year, and in 2024 after Norfolk came out. But ever since they got their mix buff back up again and a couple of other smaller buffs, the division is absolutely back in the flesh, and Punk's Not Dead here showing a really, really solid show with them here, getting a 1-0 lead over Phase Plasma, and a decent KD here as well. But that's especially towards the end of the game, where the units of Phase Plasma had to charge in and just got overwhelmed. So we'll see how it goes in game number 2. Pretty excited for it, as this game number 1 here looked relatively convincing from both of these players. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Black Forest, 5th Panzer versus 2nd Guards coming up as the next game. Quick break, and then we're gonna go in with that. So return game number 2. Face Plasma versus Punk's Not Dead. Not Dead up 1-0. And Face Plasma now coming in here on the left side with the 5th Panzer. On the right side, we have Punk's Not Dead with 2nd Guards, a division that really has solidified its place in the meta since its launch, as it brings all the good stuff that you want out of a motorized division from the fact you get BMP2s, you get T-72s, you get really heavy tanks with the T-80 UD variant that they get, and get solid forward deployment units in APCs with the Veteran Redka and the BTR-80s. BTR-80 in general a really solid one as well with 10 hit points. Is pretty unusual for an APC, so it wins the duel against other APCs that only have 8. It also has decent frontal armor, it has smoke, so it's a really flexible APC. And yeah, behind that here, the good mechanized push gets 30mm grenade launchers. Issue of the division is it's AA on the mid range, but that's not an issue against 5th. And it doesn't have a light tank, so Leo ones can do a decent job here if they get pushed into the right places. Not sure if Feodor is the right place for them. I feel like playing around the northern edge of Boris would be the space for Leo ones, because here the BMP2s can't stop them. We will see how this goes. Before we go in, quick shout out to the Matcherino page, and big thank you to the latest supporters on the Matcherino page, where we crowdfund the permanent prize pool, and we got Gab Butt, ZX Vister, and Griffin here coming in with $25, $5, and $25 lately, getting us up to a beautiful $475.50. And we also already have nearly used up all the codes, and that means that we can soon apply for more of these codes, but we still have 8 remaining. So 8 of you guys that haven't done so yet, and pretty sure there are 8 of you who haven't done it yet, in the viewer list, click the code, and you get 25 cents to the prize pool for free. You don't pay anything, and we don't pay anything, but it will be added by Matcherino themselves. Once more, thanks to Matcherino for the support with these events, and the hosting of the prize pool thing makes the whole payout and funding thing so much easier. And yeah, the extra free money on top is a nice extra bonus on as well. So yeah, just go over there, click the claim code button, and add some free money to the prize pool, and that will be paid out to some of the players. Plus, an anonymous member of the community will mirror those contributions in the end of the season, up to $1,000 with donation to the amazing Action Against Hunger organization. So it's a slight move towards charity indirectly as well with that. So yeah, all you have to do, clicking there on that little button. With that said, let's focus on the beautiful action that we have ahead of us here, as we have a pretty strong focus around the northern flank here by Phase Plasma. Okay, half of the units are going towards Enner through the northern route. We have Gepards moving around, we have Fernspeer, and the Lux. Where's the Lux going? Oh, the Lux is going nowhere yet. Okay, that's going to be interesting. What's on the other side? Yeah, we have those BTRs rotating around the spot. We have the BMP2s all set up here. The Talk recon unit coming around. SCV unit coming around, and there we go into the action. And a decent force here actually moving towards center as well, which likely is even more than on the other side. We have an ATGM vehicle going relatively deep behind enemy lines here, trying to prevent the enemy from moving in, and maybe even trying to get some shots here. So Punk's Not Dead with a bit of shenanigans. But yeah, I'm not liking the Leo 1A1 super much down here, especially not defensively. If you want to use them, I believe you have to push them all the way through the southern forest line up here. There they can play quite nicely with their ranges and also secure you Theodore, and those are 2 red Leo 1A1s, so they are relatively efficient with their usage. The F4F here coming around as a fighter can be used against enemy helicopter openers potentially if you spot some of those. But that's not likely to be the case here. Outside of that, your fighters are outclassed with 5th Panzer, but you have the better AA with Roland 3s against planes compared to the OSA. The OSA fantastic against helicopter, only mid-tier against planes. As the Leo 1s here slowly rolling forward. Jaeger of Clever rotating around as well. Gepards here, pretty good against helicopters and planes as well. Bench Bear, make it in the north. Lux and Jaeger of Clever coming in with these as well. So both sides here bringing relatively similar forces to this part of the map. Rella rotating up north there as well. That's an interesting choice. As Lucifer gets the capture over here. The one coming in for the south. Leo 1A1s moving in. Bench Bear should see that there's nothing here. Should take more space. And if you can get this building line, you are in a fantastic spot as on the blue side. Like, if you can get this part of the map, then you can later get an HGM in here or some in here to start cutting off the reinforcement line into Boris. And the enemy is in big trouble. Big 23 coming around here, gets the kill on the Alouette. Will get hit up by the Gepard, so doesn't want to stay around for a fight. F4F is diving pretty deep, has to be careful though. It's not faster than the MiG-23, and it could run into a MiG-29 on the other side. Strela 10M here with potential to get a shot on it as well. Does miss with the first shot. Second shot not coming out, so F4F should get the hell out of there. Igla will get a shot here as well. That one is a hit, forcing out the enemy. Iltis Führungs here in trouble. Should move away from this line of advance as the BTR and the Guardetzi are both here. Not sure if Phase Plasma is realizing what is happening there. Iltis Führungs, yeah, okay, now gets moved away. Last second reaction there. Good move by Phase Plasma. Has the capture of the southern zone. So with that, has equalized the score. Looks here trying to move around. Has to be careful with the Medis, but can beat the BTR-80 thanks to the 20mm autocannon on top. That outperforms the enemy KPVT. Not by a lot, but it outperforms it well enough. The infantry does go down though. Fanspare here. BTR-80 benefiting from its smoke. Getting out alive. Jaguar 2 moving towards the middle here. Has to be careful with the Guardetzi Medis sitting around there as well. Alouette rotating towards the north. Oh, Chem Warrior, also thanks for the Twitch subscription there. Much appreciated. Yeah, hope you guys all enjoy some Division 4 action here. Giving the working man of WARNO some this time in the spotlight as well. Not just the big heroes, but also the upcoming newcomers and the old grizzly veterans of Division 4 here. And yeah, Marder 182 rotating around. The RDM2 coming in now for its attempt to get some interceptions here on the enemy reinforcement line, and it has good chances of actually getting some kills there. The Martyrs especially leaving it a good amount of time to get on target, and they get the first kill here. Second missile about to come out. And the Martyr might get hit by that before it can get out of it as well. Oh, 2 kills already. This is brutal. Conquerors moving around. Looks on the hill, goes down as well. Phase Plasma really tried to get an attack on here, but it is just getting shut down by this brutal Conqueror's flank. Third hit in a row. Conqueror's not missing. And this is just completely devastating Phase Plasma's attempt of pushing the hill. He's now realizing that they need to move around the flank and is sending in forces there to intercept the whole situation, but not before the Lux and the Leopard still move through the Conquerors, and the Conquerors just not missing. 4 shots, 4 hits so far. Leo wants staying on the course here as well, now realizing that they might want to try to get out of there, but it gets hit by the 5th shot in a row. Already moving around, but that's exactly what the Strela is here for. So Strela about to intercept that. Oh no, Leo 1 is in line of sight still, and oh, 6 shots, 6 hits. It has 60% accuracy. This is Bugs Not Dead also on a really lucky streak here, and Phase Plasma in absolute shambles on the northern flank thanks to a really good move here with that BRDM. Looks trying to find it, but that one is pushing close, so chances are it gets hit as well. Yes, it does. And yeah, with the helicopter scouts being unable to push in there, this situation is really terrible. Punk's Not Dead using their reinforcements for push towards Alpha. That one, Phase Plasma still has a good handle on with the assistance of the Martyrs here on the defense. That setup is looking decent, but their northern push is completely dead. The BRDM Conquerors here not opening fire on the Iltis on the way out. Good setup of the engagement rules here, not shooting on empty transports. And the Leo 1A5 trying to get close. That can survive a frontal hit, so Conquerors should go down to that, but it did get its payoff many times over by now, so once it gets killed there, that's calculated in and not really an issue. If Punk's Not Dead would have wanted to be really annoying, they would have moved this by now and maybe tried to get another flank in here or so, but situation still fine. Oh no, Leo doesn't even spot it. Leo now only spots it. Oh no, the Leo still goes down. Oh, I talked too early. Oh, I thought the Leo would have been close enough to see it after its first shot, but it didn't. 8 kills for the BRDM2 Conquerors. That obviously is just completely putting Phase Plasma's early game here into disarray, and they have to hold on for dear life now. They really set up a solid game plan here, but that Conqueror is just ruining the flank. The BTR-80 here going down to the Martyr, but situation now getting a bit out of hand as Phase Plasma just has to work against an absolutely heavily outnumbering force of enemy units. T-64 AK here coming forward. Martyr not really in the position to stop it. Jaguar 2 here not on the right spot either. And yeah, all the reinforcements here still going up north. The Alouette here won't find this either. Really good play from Punk's Not Dead with that Conquerors, and Phase Plasma just realizing this all a bit too late. And with that, their game plan here, it has to be to just survive the next 10-15 minutes and maybe try to get back into the late game, because they are out of all initiative at this stage, because they just lost 700-800 points up here now and even had to invest more into it to fully clear it out. Potentially still one last kill in this unit, as the Pioneer Carl Gustav are pushing it, but at the same time, 2 more Pioneers might just move through it. Iltis Führungs goes down, and yeah, the firepower advantage here on the frontline units just so high now for Punk's Not Dead that they kind of can just move all across with all their units and would still win the fight. Because the power balance is just so bad. This time around, the first miss of the Conquerors here, and its last miss most likely as well as the Carl Gustavs. Oh no, they miss! These units even might be able to escape, as Punk's Not Dead is moving them away. And Sportpanzer Fuchs is keeping an eye on it, but yeah, Leo 1A5 is desperately trying to get in here. But this point is getting overrun. And with that, the situation in this game is deteriorating really quickly here for Phase Plasma. They've got the 3 line here now, but they don't have any ATGMs in there. So smoke is nice. Leo 1A1's trying to find some bases around the edge here as well. Leo 1A1's really need to get into the business here. Oh, Guardetzi with Maddie's intercepting the reinforcement route a bit further back now as well, and find both Pioneer flamethrowers as well, so insult added to injury there. Punk's Not Dead losing even more unit. The Pioneer Carl Gustav still on the hunt up here, so they still can't be brought into the middle. Yeah, it's a bit of of a shame, because Phase Plasma really set up for a solid game here, but Punk's Not Dead, just one move completely ruining their opponent here. And we all know how that feels. We all had a game in our WARNO history where we had that one enemy recon unit or ATGM unit behind our line that just completely ruined our whole game plan, and it's one of the worst feelings that you can have as a WARNO player. So yeah, I'm really feeling the face plasma, and yeah, really liking that they don't give up here, that they try to fight back, uh, but it's going to be an insanely tough point to come back from. Leo 1A1s here, get out in the open as well. T72 comes in to back the flank here. If they would have done maybe a move through the south here, at the same time as this push came in the north to maybe get similar results onto the enemy rear, then there could have been potential for some success, but without that, the situation now so far behind in KD and no real way of getting that ever back because the combined arms just too stable on the other line. Like there's no way that you can grind out back in. Yeah. Exactly. uh, and yeah, the whole situation here deteriorating rapidly now for Face Plasma. The Leo ones desperately trying to come on top of this. The Transport Master Fuchs is pushing into the enemy, but the T64s and T72s, you can't beat them with Leo 1s. You needed Leo 2s here, but you can't afford them. It's instead massive waves of martyrs here running around, but they just not going to do it. And yeah, at the same time, Fuchs is here moving around. I mean, there was no cover here, so the Conquerors can do its own spotting. Like, it's not like no tree line in between or anything, so doing a really fine job there. Was all vehicles driving down the road. Like, you don't need any optics to really see the enemy there. Okay. Yeah, Tornado Cluster getting good kill there, getting the T64 kill. F4F moving around, all of that. Doing a decent job, but the situation here, +2 for the enemy still. No real pressure on the south. There is a T72 in here. We have this massive wave of forces in the north. If they maybe can get a hold onto something here, if they maybe can start walls through on some enemy infantry units, kill off and maybe ambush some of the tanks as well, there might be a way, but at the same time, Punk's not dead. Heading up to push towards the south and getting back into this town can be really, really tough. The Panzer Grenadiers at least all come at veterancy, so and the Martyr come all with a Milan. And there is not that much recon here around. There's still a Radvetka BTR 80 that actually can do a bit of spotting. We have the first Leo 2A3 coming around, but it's not really in a combat position right now. And yeah, Leo 1A1's here trying to get into some ambush positions in the south. Iltis Führung's trying to set up there, but Hank's not dead, just hasn't taken enough casualties to really be put into any pressure. And that's how they can afford all these units here easily to set up a defensive line while still likely having enough on the front line to hold out for a while. T72s and BMP2s do spot the martyrs on the way out, and you just can't afford bad trades here. But yeah, it's only martyrs, so T64s and T72s, if they are microed correctly, will be able to deal with that. Panzer Grenadiers running over the open will get lit up by all of this fire quite easily as well. Yeah, next martyr goes down here. T64 aiming up again. Doesn't quite get a hit, but the Milan ones of the martyrs not gonna kill it. So this push here is in trouble. Not still. Tornadoes, those are good bombers. With only ultras on the other side, they can do a decent amount of work. Get another HE bomb drop out here. Do a decent amount of work. Stress out the enemy. Ultras do find a hit. Panzer Grenadiers on the way, moving into all of these units. F4F and MiG-29s having a duel in the sky, but the MiG-23 coming in here. F4F getting into the close range fight. Pushes the enemy back. Oh, on the way out, the MiG-23 together with an OSA hit. Having the better luck though, and a lot of infantry here now coming on the flank. T-72 killing off more Martyrs. The Martyrs getting annihilated. The superior RPOs winning easily against the Panzer Grenadiers thanks to the RPO-A launcher, and situation here just not good enough here for Phase Plasma. The defensive line just too strong on the other side, and this whole push is getting evaporated. The BRDM2 Conqueror is still alive up here now. Really such a annoying setup from Punk's Not Dead. And yeah, no good position here. The Leo 1 likely going to be overrun here by the Guadetzi as well. Counter push here with T-72s and so on. The Leo 2 left in the rear, not really doing anything right now. That's something that just can't afford at this point. But even if this unit would be in action, likely wouldn't achieve much. There are matchups where the Leo 2 setup in the late game just can grind you back any game, but not against the setup that you have on the other side here with the potential of T-80 UDs and a lot of solid T-64s and T-72s. Like, you outclass them a bit, but and if the match is close, the Leo 2s can do a lot there, but the game is not close here. This game is really one-sided thanks to that one Conqueror's move, and Phase Plasma is bringing the combined arms back into the action, but Punk's Not Dead just has to play a super easy defensive game at this point. The reinforcement route for them is a bit longer. That's the only annoying part that they have to adapt to a bit here into Ana, but outside of that, the hard part is all in Phase Plasma's court, as they have to push into the enemy, try to get a tick, or at least stop the tick for now, and that is just really, really hard to do. OSAs here set up well, especially with the combined arms at second guards. Can get around the board. What did see here, outflanking the armored units here as well, and yeah, Punk's Not Dead looking really, really solid here at this stage. Martyr 182 running up the hill, trying to overrun the enemy BMP, getting some decent hits, getting the kill there in time, but there's a BMP2 behind this. Radius rotating around, Conquerors firing around an ATGM, not quite getting the kill. BMP2 getting on top of it, getting the kill there. What's up north? The Panzer Grenadiers trying to deal with the superior RPO. Not able to get to finish the job just yet. The 72 BE1 here rolling in. 3P lying behind all of this. We have a good couple transport plots of Fuchses here rolling onto the battlefield as well. Trying to get into the northern position. Jäger Aufklärers going in to get into this building situation here as well. But yeah, the situation still a relative stalemate on the front line, but the front line has been pushed so far forward now. You're all resupplied the BRDM2 Conquerors. Okay. And yeah, there's so many forces spent into containing that one Conquerors unit up there that already got so many kills. So this is just a painful situation right now for Phase Plasma. Obviously, also super scared about, after that experience, about anything that could come through the north. And unloading some Mega Aufklärers here, trying to get into the buildings ahead of them. But yeah, this situation with the +2, the game is likely done here. Phase Plasma not one to easily give up. We saw that in the first game, they stayed in there. Still needed the last second as well. Finally get the Conquerors here. Pioneer Carl Gustav pushing forward, but This time around, the KD is most likely even more so into the favor of the red side. And obviously, we know what the red side has on the battlefield. Maybe as Phase Plasma, you didn't quite count the amount of kills, and maybe you hope that you traded better than you did. But yeah, the situation here not looking great. Leo 283 here coming along, but not enough support. But let's see, holding this flank here again. The Pioneers all going too far forward. Oh, or not. Rotating around actually. Last second. Pioneers here slowly for a second engaging there onto the Igla. The units in the town start to push forward. That depends Grenadiers of their buildings. The Milan 2s coming into the rear. Situation here in trouble for Phase Plasma. Yeah, the only thing that could save this is some amazing Layer 2 trading, and for that you need to start trading engagements over here, and we don't see that yet. And it's only 17 minutes remaining. It's 900 points advantage on Black Force. That's a lot. So Phase Plasma still completely occupied with trying to win this fight, and that's not a fight that you win because you have the weaker infantry. The other side has the Saperis, it has the Guadazzi with Resolute. So your infantry is just not going to win there. The Panzer Grenadiers themselves, they are decent on the defense, they're terrible on the offense. And that just means that you aren't going to be able to push into this town. Yeah, you would need to play around your agile Leo troops and try to bait the enemy into losing their T-72s, overstepping with their tanks in fights here, microing your Leo, the little heart out of your Leos, maybe using some tornado action there on top of this, and then try to get into Dimitri and Bravo or Boris from the flank here. But this far behind, like, you can't just play the grind game, especially with weak offensive infantry. Like, the issue with the Panzer Grenadier, or the German infantry in general, the battle rifle has terrible motion accuracy, and the MG3 can't even fire on the move. So you can't push with that infantry. It just doesn't deal damage when it pushes into the enemy. So when you compare that here for the assault rifles that have still not great, but a lot better motion accuracy, and the light support weapons here that can fire on the move with decent accuracy as well. Like, these units are way better at pushing into the enemy. Obviously, Defender's advantage is still big, but for the Pioneers and like the Panzer Grenadiers, you basically have no damage output on the move with the German infantry. German infantry is really solid at holding positions. The battle rifles in my eyes should still get a bit better at that even, maybe. The MG3s are already fantastic. And for the Panzer Grenadiers, on top of that, they also have a sniper rifle that also can only fire when static. That gives them really solid fire output for a 6-man squad on the defense. Like, they're really solid there, but all of this can't fire on the move. And this is terrible on the move, and it's only 4 of them, so Panzer Grenadier, even if you have a plop of 5-6 squads, well, as long as they're on the move, they just don't deal damage. So, yeah, you need to take towns like this with the fire support of your martyrs, with your artillery, with your bombers. But more often than that, you just avoid towns like this completely. Division. And instead use your tanks that are really good on the move, because they have great motion accuracy. Unlike the tanks on the other side, T-72s, they have a 10% gap here. Your Leos only have a 5% gap between their motion and their static accuracy, plus you are fast with your tanks. So those tanks really want to play the mobile warfare. Meanwhile, your infantry really doesn't want to play the mobile warfare. So you have to be careful with your German infantry. Same thing for French infantry, by the way. Like, most of the French infantry really terrible on the move as well. Unless you have MP5 infantry, then you are fantastic at it. Like, your MP5 still great damage on the move and can push in, so Falter Mega B1s and so on, but you only get a few of those. So yeah, Leo 283 goes down, all the Pioneers go down, and this is kind of it, you know? The +2 continues, and Leo 2 obviously not a unit that you want to push into the town. Leo 2 A3 here might get the kill, yes, but it still goes down on the return shot. That is unfortunate that still came out for the shot of the Leo 2 A3 hit its mark. Really, really painful there. And yeah, another Pioneer push here, but pushing this town is an absolute mistake at this point. Never invest into the points where you're losing. Try to create points where you're winning. Like, obviously, still try to hold the gap here and not let the enemy just run through it. But if the enemy has an advantage and you try to push back in there into a point where they already have an advantage, like, you already lost there when they were on the offense and you were on the defense. How are you supposed to win when you're on the offense and they're having the defensive advantage? Like, they have the combined arms here, they have the numbers. Your units are just not gonna do anything. So try to consider how you can break into the enemy lines. Obviously, at this point, there is nothing to consider here anymore. This is over. But before that happened, like, you have to try to find a way of dealing damage. Try to find a way to get kills, and at the same time, maybe build up again. But don't just throw stuff back into the grind. And hope that it works out. It won't work out. Maybe sometimes you're lucky because the enemy somehow moved the units away into a bad spot. But in 9 out of 10 cases, you're just gonna throw your units away like this. And like at this point, obviously, it doesn't really matter. But before, there were a couple of situations where even after losses in the North Phase Plasma, could have moved a bit more around. Obviously, the losses up here tanked the win chances of Phase Plasma by a lot, but that they kept on running into Anna completely tanked them to 0. Pentagram pushing forward here, but it's holding the line. But yeah, when static, you can see the D3s here doing good damage and stressing out the Guadizzi really nicely, even with the Resolute trait, thanks to the sniper rifle here dealing good stress damage. Obviously, the Guadizzi SVD have one as well, but Round 3 here doing a good job against the MiG-23. Does get the kill. Good accuracy, solid AA range. And yeah, F4F's moving around. Yeah, center could have maybe done a job there as well. Yeah, you have to think weird when you are behind. You know, like, you can't just try to play the normal game because the enemy just has more stuff, and more stuff beats less stuff. In any RTS, win ahead, get more ahead, because if two sides just fight, your side has more DPS, your side also has more hit points, so you're just gonna win and kill more than the enemy kills of you. And get even further ahead with that by killing more of the enemy than they kill of you. So yeah, the side that is behind has to try to find a way to get behind you and try to get kills without taking losses. And for that, you have to push places that don't have perfect setup combined arms. There 23 here. This is going for the fight here in the middle, but yeah, this is not good Leo 2A3 country. This is Leo 2A3 country here. Like, ranges between 2,200, 2,500 meter range where they can just pop up, get some shots out, run away. And here there's too much that can return fire on them. Cluster bomber coming around, but there are too many Osas behind here, most likely. Rellas and Osas opening up fire. Yeah, getting some hits. It actually might get out alive. HE bomber. Nope. Goes down. 29 here. Trying to get the kill as well. One tornado goes down. Nothing goes down on the other side. F4F here coming in as well. Good game by Punk's Not Dead. And yeah, 5 Plasma just getting ruined by that early game. Leo 2A3. Weakness of this tank is its side armor. It only has 6, so even the Conquerors can one-shot it with a side shot. Yeah, so Leo 2A3, one of the best tank when microed, one of the worst tank when not microed, which is also a reason why with these divisions you want to have your infantry holding defensive positions, and then have all your tanks in one big or two big blobs and just micro those. because then you can do so much damage with these. You can run down enemy tanks, you can dish out damage on the drive-by, and move around really, really quickly, but yeah, you just don't want to leave them unattended because one annoying side shot ATGM and you're just gone. So yeah, Leo 2A3 here. Get some shots, artillery returning onto it. 8 minutes remaining, nearly at the finish line here now. It's not that we'll even get to the 2000 points before that. It's, yeah. The tenacity here of Phase Plasma is nice, that they try to stay in the game, trying to figure out how to play it from the rear. Obviously, the learning experience here, that's what Division 4 is for. Yeah, tough game here, but that's one that you can't just put a tick behind because this is what ruined you, and everything afterwards was just added on top. Yeah, PRDM Conqueror is just getting so much done here. Kuzma winning the game in the first couple of minutes for Punk's Not Dead, and they just had to pick it up afterwards. So GGVP here to both players. Punk's Not Dead getting the points there. I believe Face Plasma still has decent chances, especially if they put in a couple of practice matches before their next games, and to get out of this, because they showed solid fundamentals as well. Just have to find slightly better ideas about how to counter the enemy side, and then just react a bit better for shenanigans. But that's always hard in Division 4 when you already still try to figure out the frontline game plan and then and how to micro all the stuff, and then stuff like this happens. It throws a big wrench into your plans. So job well done here by Punks Not Dead. We have another series coming your way, guys. So quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with Broke as Spaghetti and Tommy. Yeah, Daft Tommy Salty. So quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with game number 2 of the day. So here we go. Series number 2 of the day. Broke as Spaghetti versus Daft Tommy Salty. As we are on Vertigo for game number 2, number 1 here on this series. 27th cards versus 20th Panzana. So a relatively OG matchup here as well. Map number 2 gonna be taller. with WARNO first versus First and Kova. So WARNO first unbanned this time around. And yeah, we have 79th band, 39th band, 11th PCAF band. That's an interesting one. And some old school season 3 and season 2 bands here out of Procast Spaghetti. Second bands are going here. Second UK Infantry with the SAS, and 5th April Day coming out as the bands. So that's some old school bands there out of Procast Spaghetti. Maybe watched some old VODs, or is still haunted by the memories of those divisions. And yeah, Daft Tommy here coming around with 20th Panzerna, division that is really good in its combined arms around the T-72 tanks. Good openers, obviously, with the Honkeries down here. And yeah, we have on the other side, not Matcherino coming around as well. Bunkers M's in decent numbers. And a good couple of MTLBUs moving in here as well. Welcome there, Cocaine Rain. Happy to see that you guys enjoy those sound buttons. Yeah, Bunkers M's coming around. Finally, channel points are worth something as well. Can be spent. As we have a good couple of units here going all around this place. Redka moving in into decent places. They are slower than what comes in on the other side with the Honkeries, so they have to go for the defensive positions. The Honkeries could catch them here in the middle as an RPG 7 VL, so can get an easy kill there. Ross here going for some really aggressive push in the south as well. We have a Matcherino with BMP2 coming in and a Mi-24K for the middle. Okay, so yeah, the helicopter opener to try to counter that Polish fast deployment. Not forward deployment itself, but really fast deployment thanks to the Honkeries being special forces, and that increases speed. So instead of the 100 kmh that it says here, they go with 120 on 2 vet and or 130 kmh on 3 vet. So they go full pedal to the metal, and yeah, rushing in here now. There is a group coming up here, but no fighter out from the start, so nothing to put down the Mi-24K easily, especially not with a MiG-29 in the sky here for 27th. Bit of an investment here from 27th, but for sure worth it if you get some kills on the Honkeries here and get the win over the central island here. Citadel, as it's called by Chloride. Felny's here rolling around. MiG-29 could come around for some of the Me-2 US as well. Those are the ones with the small MG pots here on the side. Honker moving around there as well. And the Mi-24 intercepting half of the Rospasnalnis here, the ones that tried to go for Dimitri. Me-2 US pushing in. MiG-29 though coming in for the kill. Coop not quite close enough to get onto the MiG-29, but it's turning into it. Ooh. Coop is on an attack order for the MiG-24. No fighter coming out here out of Daft Tommy. And yeah, victory here for Procast Spaghetti. The beginning in the middle. More recon units coming into this position. Will get some solid victories there. E-24 firing some more rockets, Sapergis, and the Fagots rotating around. 55 AD as the leader tank coming around with a T-55AS to try to win fights around here. And see the Coup 3 now moving around. Not finding the hit onto the MiG-29 yet. Getting another shot. You don't want to put direct attack orders here. We saw that from Tommy. You want to move around your AA weapons with hunt orders for the most part. Otherwise, sometimes if the enemy goes out the long range, they start moving and then break break the guidance of the radar missiles. So you want to be a bit better with that movement there. T-55AS hasn't gotten its rocket out, gets hit by BMP-2's Conquerors, so still alive but damaged. Conquerors M moving around as well, and the Mi-24K here still out. Plane should have come out for this, a cheap fighter, especially with the coup below. The MiG-29 could have been pushed back, and then you could have killed the Mi-24K. Instead, that is currently just racking up kills, has those 23mm gun pods under its wings as well, so can still murder infantry, and it's absolutely doing that right now. So this opener currently going really terribly for Tommy. Has gotten the capture point here, bring a BMP for the capture in the north, but situation in general not going well. Shilka also here with a bit of a mismove, just a normal attack order instead of a hunt order. So it will take a long time to arrive on the front line as an anti-helicopter unit. Big miss micro here by Tommy. And MP1 here coming for the north. Will at least give it a +1 for now. But T80 BVK already on the way. T8M AT plane out to get the kill here onto the T-55s too. Coming in now. Vickers missiles out. Oop shoots at it. But the Vickers do get the kill against the T-55 AD. Oop gets a hit. But no kill. Conquers M over here. Only on a move order, not on an attack order. So the Conquerors will get it. That's a nice little victory here on the side. But Tommy needs more than that to get back into this. Push with the Rostvisnelli in the center not working out either. And yeah, you now really have to figure out a way of how to set up pressure here, because if you don't push pressure on 27th, and 27th has an amazing late game with the Taurs as a really solid AA now. Ever since they got the range buff, the air worries of 27th have evaporated, and they have become an amazing late game combined arms deck again. With great IVs, TADBVs also got buffed lately, so yeah, 27th back to old strengths. It's not quite as strong as it was in its best of times, but it's in a really, really good position. Meanwhile, obviously 20th Panzerna has been nerfed a good couple of times over the last year as well. And it's still a solid division, but you could make the argument that on this map, 27th is the better division by now. Especially if the opener doesn't work that well. And we have seen it work the other way lately, but that was with a weird BMP3 opener. And Starek with using an amazing T-72 push here through the north and the Honkarus through the northern point. But Tommy tried to play it wide, and that maybe not the best idea, especially not with Mi-24K ruining your day like that. And yeah, the lack of a fighter to protect the Honkarus there, a big mistake. And now bringing in attack airplanes when you know the enemy has Taurs and MiG-29s out and you don't have anything to protect them, that's a big mistake as well. S-22 rocket there just going down. And yeah, Tommy now in a really, really rough spot now. The Persians of the Polish pushing forward. They have an AT weapon, but they are on a quick move order here. And now just going for a direct attack command there. So yeah, Tommy not using the quick hunt and hunt command quite in the right context yet. Like those are all a lot of direct attack orders onto enemy units instead of going just with normal hunt orders or weird movement orders in situation where you should use hunt. There are moments where the hunt is used, so it's not all wrong, but yeah. It's here, 50 unload coming around, Conquerors. Oh no, likely gonna find the CV here as well. Another setback. This one doesn't have smoke, so it can't escape here. Way too far away from any line of sight blockers to escape the Conquerors here. Super slowed down due to the stress, and yeah, there goes the BMP-1 CV. T-72M to Vilk trying to get the push on. At the smack. Pushing on around the flank as well. Yeah, the M2 Conquerors dueling with the BMP-1s. Here's another T-55. Tries to rotate in here. The Shilka nearly went out of fuel moving to the front line because it rolled through the forest and not over the road. So this one nearly stuck as well. Modrashvetka has taken the position in the south. BP1 under fire. Yeah, situation here looking pretty rough for Tourney. 372 M Wilk pushing forward, but the TADBVK here needs to be dealt with. And yeah, planes would be the easiest way. S32AT does not get the hit though. Tor gets 2 missiles on it and might get the kill of the second one. The accuracy really high. Yeah, does get the kill there. Really good against SUs. They have high ECM, but they fly pretty low and relatively slow. So the Tor gets 2 missiles and it has 70% accuracy. So even with the 30% ECM on the other side, it still has a really solid chance of getting 2 hits. 1 hit usually always going through. And that's a big problem for the Air Force duels here. Yeah, T-55S going down there as well. But 5AD getting back into the zone for a minute here, but the trades here just going relatively terrible all across the board for Daft Tommy, and they need to find a better angle. Maybe pushing into the north earlier would have been that, but they're super focused on this southern town fight without quite having the combined arms needs that they need to get through here to overwhelm, especially now that there's a T80 BVK here. That one is just pushing forward now. It's at T23. 80 BVK coming around. T55AD does survive. Dana coming around. You want to push that a lot closer. Don't want to keep that in the rear. Okay, it's moving up closer afterwards because it doesn't have the greatest range, the Dana, and the further you are away, the less accurate you are, and that scales with your max range. So if you fire from far away, Dana is pretty inaccurate. The unit that you want to have relatively close to the front line with each fire mission. Moving closer now into a decent position. Aiming up now towards the northern Tor. Single Dana on these ranges won't find a kill though. And Modstalky Maddie's now even pushing closer, gets another BMP-1. And yeah, this is the efficiency of 27th at play. Like once that division gets online, it just doesn't lose any units anymore. It has all the tools it needs, the Tors to kill all the planes, the TADBVKs to front some shots, the BMP-2 and BMP-3 combo to get out really solid combined arms efficiency, and okay infantry across the board as well. Good AT launchers in those. BRDM 2 Conquerors with the Conquerors M that can deal extra damage as well. Solid fighters. Like it's a really combined arms powerhouse once it survives the first 3-4 minutes, and with the Mi-24K, it can do that in matchups where the enemy doesn't have forward deploy A or good fighters, and neither was the case here for Tommy. So situation here a bit rough, and 20th Panzerna, not a great late game division. It's a division that comes all out of the grinding and the trading off of units and getting slightly ahead in those trades, but the trades never started to materialize, and instead it was just losses from the get-go for Tommy and bad shots, and then getting back into it as 20th Panzerna actually relatively hard at this point. It's really easy to get into the grinds compared to a lot of other divisions, but if you don't manage to do so, you are in big trouble with this div. So yeah, push here towards the south. Motorachvetka there, getting attacked. That U-23 trying its best, and will find the Motorachvetka kill there. ADBVK has to be careful, but gets the Wilk and does survive itself. T55AD gets the kill at least in the last second, so points-wise a decent trade for Tommy, but you don't get that many Wilks. Mi-24D here with Falanga Ps won't kill the TADBV on the other side. Concourse missiles here all around. Dana maybe could deal with those. Dana, a decent artillery piece that can get you some damage back, but BMP-3 getting the kill on the BMP-2 here. The 8Ms moving around for the T55AD again. There is the coup, but the coup, oh no, gets killed off by the artillery before it can find the kill. T55AD goes down on the ground as well. Shilka not quite good enough to get the kill there. Disaster couple of seconds there for Tommy. That was the combined arms that he had remaining here. Do something in the south, and Tommy just keeps on banging his head against the southern defenses, and they're just too good. Once the combined arms like this materializes for 27th, you're just not gonna break it. So they have the move in the north now coming up, but that is too late. The defensive line here is decent, and Tommy didn't ever reinforce this northern push. And yeah, I believe if you want to win with 20th Panzerna, you have to do it similar to how it was done by Starek versus Procomi. You have to go through the north to Boris and Paul, or at least Boris, and get into this forest line here, because then 20th is a lot more efficient on these shorter ranges with the T-72s and so on, and the BMP-3s and BMP-2s and ATGM units of the underside can't be used, and you don't get endless TADBVs, and they're not great in the short ranges. So that's, I believe, what Tommy should have looked at and copied. But their game plan here with the push in the south, where the ranges are a bit longer all around that as well, are just valuable for the enemy. The idea, I guess, was that you make the game wider with this, because the enemy is the less cost-efficient division in the early game when it comes to setting up combined arms. But yeah, then you also have to protect your Honker Roost to actually get into the positions, as the Mi-24K is a pretty obvious start to counter that. Like, that's the easiest way to directly counter it, and Tommy didn't set up for that and just is paying the dividend for that right now, and it's not looking good. +2 does tick up here. The push in the north, he's trying to achieve something, but there are just way too many ATGMs here. Infantry is caught out in the open. BMP-3 can just thread through it. There are no T-72s up there to win the close range fight. Tommy with the double Dana trying to set up a long game, but if you try to play the Dana game, you can't just run into headlong into the ADBV's time and again. Like, the Danas potentially can set you up for a grind game, but that is not a... You can't just take bad fights at the same time. Like, if you want to play the Dana game, then you have to slow it down and just play with a bit of recon, taking a cleansing shot from the enemy, figuring out where their position is, hit it with Danas, and then move on. But you can't try to go into the Dana grind when you're already a bit behind on the trade, and then still trying to fight on the front line into a defensive position enemy. Like, that's not how that works. So yeah, either do the Dana play or swing around with heavier forces on the ground, but don't do both at the same time. It's never gonna work. Like, as the player that is behind, if you have better artillery, it can be a way back, but it's not an instant, okay, I just buy the artillery and hit the enemy whilst I try to push in with lower forces movement. No, it's I try to grind back by not losing anything of my own and slowly try to attrition away enough enemies that we are on equal footing eventually again. And I will be back at the 40-minute mark. If you invest into the Dana gameplay, you know that you're playing for the 40-minute victory and not for returning back at the 15 or 20-minute mark. So yeah, this is a mistake from the game plan of Tommy here as well, with the moves in the south. And really good defense here by Broker Spaghetti. The victory of the center point, making the northern push a lot tougher as well. And 72 MD is trying to push in, but everything in front of it already died, and actually chances are relatively decent that it might just die there as well. MP3 coming around, get a hit. Smoke comes out from Tommy. Will stop the tick there for a second, but at the same time still runs WSVs into the south. Still runs a BMP-1 KR here. You can't do it all. Like, that's something that Division 4 players often have to learn, that when playing from behind, you really have to take the pedal, like the foot from the gas, and just try to slow it down. Just try to not take casualties for 5 minutes and just leave the enemy on the tick. It is scary, sure, but yeah, if you can play this artillery comeback. This artillery comeback is not a bad idea, but you have to do it from a position where you just stop losing units to the enemy. And but for that, you need to stop moving into them. Like, you can still move recon obviously around the forest, but you should keep all your other stuff behind, and then at least set up enough that and then set up the artillery so that you take out essential conquerors positions, for example, and then push in where the conquerors gap has been created, but not push in and then maybe try to hit with the artillery at the same time. That only works when you are in an equilibrium, because otherwise your units are all dead already before your artillery hits the conqueror's position, and then you're still not ahead or still haven't catched up. Like same as we see here now, the artillery still did get status U, but all the units here moved in at the same time, planning to work with the artillery, but the artillery only can take out one unit at a time. And if the enemy is so far ahead of you that they have a whole defensive line, then yeah, taking out one of those units still leaves all of your units getting massacred, and the game being over here. Me 24K moving around, like, yeah, the Dana move here, decent idea, but the execution just not quite there. And when obviously it's scary, and obviously yeah, you want to have a better execution in the early game against 27th, but like if you get behind like this, your only hope kind of are Dana, so you have to let them work as well. You have to give them pre-ring room and time, and that's just not what Tommy did here. And yeah, not really working out. Like maybe that's one of the ways of dealing with 27th, taking out all the good ATGM team positions and then pushing those positions. And if the enemy tries to replicate them with BMPs, then with a bit of smoke, you still can overrun them with T-72s. But that's not what happened here. And we're 20 minutes into the game. we should be able to get into the north soon. EDBV got bailed out, but there's no real pressure onto the north right now. The trades there have been terrible as well. The kills lately all have been red units dying. And yeah, that's just 27th where it wants to be. Once it is entrenched like this, it's really, really hard to get it off there. And for that, you have to play a smoother game than what Tommy did here with the 20th. So yeah, Broke Spaghetti doing a really solid combine arms. And the Mi-24K was absolutely the right choice. Bringing it around with a MiG-29, good option there as well. So, yeah. Got the C-Mac pushing forward. Oh no. Misclick here, I believe. Dana's going in for the direct fire. Yeah, Tommy realizing that a bit late. Misclicking there onto something on the enemy side. Okay, moving forward to Dana's. Dana actually have a decent fire, direct fire capabilities. I realized that lately when I played the Army General campaign, because you get a lot there. The French get a lot of EBRs and other recon vehicles that can drive into your rear. The Danas of mine actually killed most of those. A couple of Danas obviously falling to it as well, but in the end, still working out decently. Yeah, T8M here coming around. Gets hit by the coup, but doesn't get killed. V2 US goes down. +1 back on the menu here. 18 minutes and 14 seconds remaining, and their push here of Broker Spaghetti should just be able to break this completely. Multiple TADBVs, no real forces here on the other side that can stop them. No good ATGM positions, and BMP3 on these ranges really good against BMP2. Can one-shot kill them with the faster ATGM. Conqueror's coming around from the side as well. Everything goes down here again. Yeah, Tommy is just falling further and further behind. So this should be a GG soon, as the game is all but over at this point. And yeah, there we go. GG is called as Broker Spaghetti. Really solid game one here. And yeah, Tommy needs to find a better opener for game 2. And also, when falling behind, needs to find a bit more of a core mindset. Even when playing up in a matchup like this, where you are supposed to be the faster division, still, like, if the game goes bad, you have to take the bitter pill and try to play the late game and slow down, set up. You still have good combine arms for the late game in 20F. So you still can play around that T72 plop. You can still play around the Dana fire support with BMP2s and stuff like that. Like, it's not like you don't have any combine arms for the late game there. But if you just set up into bad fight after bad fight, like, you're never gonna get there. And the enemy will still grow and get better and stronger and just dominate you then like this in the end. So GGVP at Broker Spaghetti. We'll see if Tommy can find a better way into game number 2. Quick break. And then we're gonna be back with that one. And here we go. Game number 2. Broker Spaghetti coming up with the 101st Airborne. And on the other side, first Tankova coming out for Tommy. So Tommy once more on the T-72 division. This time around with the speed disadvantage, as this time around the fast boys are on the other side with Special Forces transports in form of the Humvee Deltas. coming in with the deltas here towards all the positions in the middle. So you will need to get a bit of a more consecutive force here in the middle. You have some annoying little helicopters that could start intercepting here as well with the Me 2s as first Ankova, but Tommy currently seemingly going for a more centered push. Before we go directly into the combat, one more quick shout out to the Matcherino page, guys, where you can assist funding the tournament, and all you have to do is clicking on the claim code button here on the top right, and with that you add 25 cents to the prize pool for free. Just click the link and it immediately adds that amount of money to the prize pool. So yeah, quick thing to do, an easy thing to do. Add some free money to the prize pool. Link down in the description below on YouTube video and in the chats. And yep, with that said, let's get back into the action here and see what we have for the rest of the deployment. OH helicopters here as anti-air, air arrow, tow 2 to get an ATGM as quickly into the middle here as well. And yeah, on the side of Tommy, a relatively decent push towards Delta, relatively decent push into the north here with 2 T-72s in the northern, 1 T-72 in the southern formation. E3s do have smoke. The E2s are the one without smoke, but with this forest you can play good back and forth with the line of sight as well. E2 here bringing RT as HPZs to the front line. Tavas here has decent recon ahead of the curve, but yeah, the deltas, they can roll really deep, so you have to be careful here as the enemy. Have to kind of give up the delta point for the deployment and just realize that you have to push back in there. You know that you have more tanks, you know that you have the IV advantage, so gotta play from that position. You have more APCs and so on as well, so that your infantry is weaker, that your helicopters are weaker, and that you have to play all around that is key. You have the OSA, so the helicopter situation should be absolutely manageable. OSAs are fantastic anti-helicopter. That's one big weakness strength of 101st kind of mitigated there. So yeah, go slowly into a game like that. Deployment zones here of Tommy look pretty fine. Respecting the enemy there. Has to maybe be a bit careful here in the middle, because the deltas go even further there. But yeah, they will take a good amount of ground. RT, HPZ flying in for the southern route. Motostralzi here coming in, BMP2. Key unit in this matchup. The M1 IP can duel your T-72s, but you get a good bit more, even with the cards getting a bit more generous. You obviously get more tank cards still. And yeah, the Swatava here pushing in. Has to be careful. Like this forest, I wouldn't even push with recon vehicles. That Swatava over here takes the more secure route. Over here. Into the range of the Humvee Delta. That's good though, that it kills that before it runs into the Delta. Will get killed off by the Delta most likely. But trading off against the Humvee is not great, but not the end of the world. Or you just get a transport helicopter in the south, but that's fine as well. The tow 2 here is the big problem. The E3 has smoke though, so can get out of this. Just needs to use it. Yesterka and Swatava here need to be careful. Tow 2 does lose guidance. Still sees the Swatava and the OT. Valky and BMP2 go down to the Humvee tow in the south. Need to be careful there. B2A goes down here. Delta and Humvee tow Delta pushing it. Doesn't have any AT weapon. The T-72 also not far enough away here. That's bad. Oh, it goes down. Tommy here pushing without infantry in the northern flank into the deltas that have a Carl Gustav launcher. Oh no, Carl Gustav finds a side shot. Oh, Tommy here with the wrong unit set up. And not quite respecting the deltas enough. Yesterka goes down to the delta. You can't just push good AT launchers with your frontal tanks. You need a bit of infantry in there. And yeah, you need to play this kind of game slow and really meticulously. Philippan on the battlefield, but already a good couple of the frontline units down, and that allows Progress Spaghetti now to push a bit deeper. If next T-72 goes down, T-72 MK here gets another side shot from the Delta. Oh no, Delta finally out of ammo, but another T-72 here hit hard. And yeah, BMP2's moving around. And yeah, Delta's here moving up. BMP2 moving around. Arrow Dragons with Dragon 2 can kill these guys as well, though. Yeah, you just need to unload your infantry and follow that up, them up here instead of running your vehicles forward. And GG is already called as Tommy, yeah, realizes that that was an absolutely abysmal opener. Maybe could have still played on there, but yeah, that obviously was just really rough and likely soul crushing there. As Tommy does surrender with 770 to 40 kills. Yeah, that is not the kind of way you want to run into WARNO first. You really need to have infantry pushing into them. They don't have that much infantry support outside of the Humvee TOW Delta. They don't have any IFVs and so on, so you usually can push with infantry relatively securely into them without your infantry just getting deleted. And you can take your time. Like, one of first isn't going to win against you in the grind game, but they're obviously going to win against you if you give them kills like this with your vehicles. If you are pushing them a bit too fast into the spots, they have good AT weapons, TOW 2s, the Deltas with the Calgustavs, Dragon 2s, and all of that. So yeah, GGVP here. And with that, we have the 2-0 victory for Broker Spaghetti. And yeah, the victory with that in the series here as well. So yeah, well played here by Broker Spaghetti. And with that, securing the first victory here. And Tommy, yeah, just has to once more look at the fundamentals in the openers. Like, both of these games, they kind of ran into the exact thing that counters their opener and just ran straight into it and then lost it from there on out. Like, the first game was lost in the opener kind of as well. The Mi-24K just ruining the day. The Honkaroos not protected. And this game here just respecting the deltas, but not enough. And then the game is just over. So yeah, GGVP here by Broker Spaghetti. And setting up really well. Like, that looked two really solid games here. Looked really solid for Division 4. Would say with that they are a good candidate for getting deep into the playoffs. And yeah, Tommy once more has to brush up their openers. We'll hopefully see smoother games for them in the next one. And with that, we're gonna end it here for today, guys. As my voice is also starting to crack from those solo casts. Gonna be back tomorrow with more casts together with Chloride again. Likely covering Division 2 then. And maybe one more Division 1 series or so. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, with that said, let's see if we can find somebody to raid for tonight. If I feel like it, I might come back later tonight with some more Menace, because that game is now stuck in my head. I want to see the later stages because I watched some other videos and there seems to be a bit more late game content already in the game. So yeah, we'll see. See if we can rate somebody that is streaming WARNO. It doesn't look like that's the case. Oh wow, Home Stereo Cup 28 though. Yeah, that absolutely is something that we should send you over to. Didn't realize Home Story Cup's online. You all should watch that too, guys. Best StarCraft 2 tournament.